Wait, is my hair still good?
Stop touching it. No, it's good.
It's good?
Right. This is annoying me.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to Vicarious.TV. What?
No, it's just like his dread that's like right in his face. There you go.
Boom. What's up guys? Welcome back to Vicarious.TV, Love and Lifestyle. Today we're going to answer a question that I get asked a lot, and it's how do you convince your girlfriend? How did you convince her to be poly, or how did you convince her to have another girlfriend? We get asked that a lot of ways, and it is a good question. So here we go. So the short answer to that question is you don't convince them. You can't convince them. Really, you can't convince your girl to be poly if it's not in her nature. The first important aspect of that is if she's bisexual, then obviously it's going to be a lot easier to navigate those waters because she's interested in other women. If she's not, then it's not poly already. So it's already excluded. You can't convince her to be poly if she's not bisexual, by our definition of poly, because we believe that if it's not a mutual thing, then it's more of polygamy. It's more of a sister-wife kind of thing. So if that nature is there already, it's kind of gonna happen naturally. It's not really any different than, like, people sometimes look at poly like it's so foreign, but it's like, doesn't everybody love a threesome, right? No, I thought so. So if you do, it's just taking that a step further. But if they're not interested in it, you can't convince them. It's no different than if a gay guy were to try to convince a straight guy to be with him. You can't turn somebody gay if they don't have it under there already. You can't dig out something that doesn't exist. So Pri was bi-curious when we met.
Yeah. So when he first brought it up to me, he came home one day and was like, "Oh, we should have another girlfriend." And at first it was like, haha, we're gonna have another girlfriend. It was like, no, we're not. But that's when I felt comfortable enough to open up to him and say that I was curious about being with another girl. So, at first it was like, no, we're not gonna have another girlfriend. And then the idea just grew. We spoke about it more and all the benefits that it would have. And then that's where we actively started looking for someone.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't look for somebody, and we're in confliction about when that conversation happened, because I'm pretty sure
he doesn't remember what he had for breakfast this morning, so I know when I told him.
I believe that I didn't make the joke about having another girlfriend until after we already had our first threesome experience.
No.
For sure, we didn't.
Not our first threesome experience.
But yeah, so we did have the first one.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about it when we had the first one.
I know we didn't talk about it. It happened, and then I brought up the girlfriend conversation. I believe that we explored her by curiosity a bit, and then I made a joke about having another girlfriend. After it was a joke, I was joking, but then I slept on it, and then when I thought about it, like, over in my sleep, I really thought, like, wait a second, like, this really makes sense. Like, there's just so much validity to it. Like, 3 incomes in one household, 3 people working on something together. And it's like, if we're already having threesomes anyway, it's like, why not take that a step further? Like, if a threesome is okay, then why would it be wrong to go further? But we didn't know what poly was. I never heard of poly before. Like, I heard of the show Sister Wives before, but I never watched it. So it was kind of stumbling onto this realization myself, and then realizing, oh, it's a thing, which made it a lot more tangible. But it was only so Pri's by curiosity already was a segue into that, but she wouldn't have even like, we were seeing each other for a while before you even opened up about that.
Yeah.
The only reason you even told me about that, having not really told anybody, was because of the environment of safety and acceptance that we had. And
yeah, mind you, in another video, we talk about how we met and how we all how we all met, how me and Steven met, how our relationship was. But just a quick summary is, from the very beginning, Steven was very open and honest about who he was and what he wanted to do, and that we didn't expect to date each other, so he never stopped seeing other girls. And I was okay with that because of how our relationship grew and how honest he was about who he really was, about what he wanted to do. So in our relationship, there was always great communication, a lot of trust, and we were both super confident in ourselves.
Yeah, so basically what she's saying is the clear answer for how you convince is you don't convince, but you have to always, from day one, just... That's how I've always had all my relationships and my friendships, all interpersonal relationships. There's integrity and just clear communication. I'm not going to mislead you. I wouldn't want that done to me. And I even offer things that aren't asked, because it's like, if I believe you would want to know that, or it's pertinent to our relationship, I'm going to tell you, because it's better to have it come out now and just be clear about it and just get your honest, you make a choice on it. You have to put it on the table so you can make a decision. Otherwise, if it comes out later, it's just a waste of everybody's time, and it was always going to end badly anyway. So,
which is why so many people break up and there's cheating and all this stuff, because they're not honest from the very beginning. You're not going to just randomly say you want to see another person and expect your partner to be completely okay with it. You're going to have a tough time.
We've seen stories of people that were married or dating for a long time, and then they brought somebody else in to, I don't know, maybe the intention was to spice up the relationship or whatever, try something new. I think that it's a lot harder to do it that way. I think if you believe you are poly, or you realize you are, or want to explore that world a little bit, anybody that you meet, it's like from day one, they should already know you have a girlfriend, or they should already know your intention, and then don't try to convince them. If they're not with it, they're not with it. You have to respect everybody's boundaries. So if you're open up front, the right people will be able to pass that barrier. If they don't, then it's never going to end well to begin with. So because I'm always honest about stuff, Pre felt like, okay, cool, I could be open about, hey, I was always curious about girls or whatever, because there's no judgment, there's no negativity any way that you cut it. It's like, we take it serious, it's valid, and we just respect it and explore it. That's how you should kind of do it with anything in a relationship, but with this especially, it's important.
And the whole how do you convince him? There was no convincing, and it's not something that happened, at least with us, it's not something that happened from day to night. We talked about it, we spoke about what we were comfortable with, what we were both looking in people, then it's like, even as far as taste,
it's kind of, it's just like regular dating.
Yeah.
Like, we would date and see other girls, but you're not going to jump into a relationship. The same way you need to figure out what you like and don't like, and what you can tolerate and what you need in a relationship, we now have a relationship together that we need to go, and it's like a double interview process. We both have to be congruent on what we're accepting and what we want in a person for it to work. So it's just that same elimination process, I guess.
And then again, I think another step to overcome is, once it's like, okay, we're dating, we really like this person, and then it's starting to become very serious, it's getting past the weird phase. It could be a little weird, and then you start to face judgments from people you don't expect, and then those are the things that I think really define your relationship, or defined ours, because we went through a judgment through friends and family, and then having each other and seeing how we all reacted together is what really brought us closer through that time.
Yeah, it was a learning experience for both of us. So it was kind of something we were just figuring out together, so we weren't alone in it. And that's, people ask that question too, how's it for the person coming into a relationship? But that's another video. But for us, and for the guys that are asking me that, the short answer is you cannot convince them. Your best practice is live your life with integrity, not just in your relationship, not for the intention of getting your girlfriend to be poly. It's just always have integrity, always make it a point to communicate clearly and fully, and don't ever create an environment where they believe they will feel judged. It has to be fluid, and from the beginning when you meet somebody, you have to frame it that way. You can't lead a girl on saying like, oh yeah, like I want babies, yeah, I want to be with you forever, like I'm a one man kind of girl. It's like, I'm not a one man kind of girl, and if you judge for that, your judgment is your opinion. But the thing is, it's a beautiful thing, because at the end of the day, there's nothing unethical about just it's being an open book. You're putting it on a platter, and the other people involved can make a decision based on all the facts. There's no deceit. There's nothing that's going to come up later. You're never going to hurt them or waste their time. And for me, that's important, because I wouldn't want, like, even when we were first talking about stuff, I like went out of my way to be like, hey, Pri, like, when I tell you this, I want you to know this is not the ulterior motive, because maybe she doesn't even see it that way, but it's like, oh, maybe I could be saying this to be sweet and get her to think this, but there's an ulterior motive.
When, like, we joke, we talk about it all the time, like, he never really asked me officially to be his girlfriend. It just naturally grew into a relationship. But even when he told me, which is what we consider our anniversary, like the day he told me that he really loved me, even that day, he's like, I really love you, but I still want you to know that I feel like this, and this, and this. And it's like, that's when we established a more serious relationship. But right then and there was never, like, lies, or it's like, he never let me think that, oh, now I'm going to stop seeing other girls. He let me know that, that he was serious about me, because at that point, we weren't. Yeah. But even from the very beginning, he was always very honest, which is where I think a lot of the guys mess up in.
Yeah, but on that point too, it's like, I might be too smart for my own good or just overthinking, but I'm like, what if I'm subconsciously telling her I love her and da-da-da, because I want her to think, oh, well, maybe I'll stay with him anyway because now he loves me and he'll convince me. It's like, I even had that conversation with you. It's like, Pri, I'm telling you this because it's how I honestly feel. I don't want you to get in your head or convince yourself that now because I love you, things are going to change. You have to accept, if you want to be with me, that this may never change. This may be how I am forever. Who knows what can happen later, but I want you to really know the real story and the real deal to make a decision on it. So for all guys, just lead your life with integrity, period. And it's better for you. You feel better. You never have to regret. You never have to deal with the weight of hurting somebody or breaking somebody's heart. If people make a choice based on facts, that's their decision, and just be clear about it, because that's the only way that it's ever going to work.
Yeah, and be clear from the beginning, and if it is something that you have a curiosity upon later, which is what happened to us, like it happened later on in the relationship, it only worked because we were always honest from the very beginning, and it only worked because we were open enough to speak about these things, in our relationship. So
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. Can't convince, and just be honest.
Be honest. Communicate. Obviously, have your fun. Be safe.
And I'm not saying though, if you do feel that way inside, and you're thinking like, oh, I've been dating this girl for 5 years, and now I'm feeling these ways and these inclinations. Don't deny it from yourself, because that will also tear the relationship apart down the road anyway. Yeah, you have to be honest.
You don't. The one reason, the one thing that I always tell people is like, I never wanted to change Steven and who he really was. So, just as we always say, like, be happy, live a judgment-free life, kind of like Planet Fitness, judgment-free zone.
Live and let live.
Yeah, let people do, and be an honest person. Be honest. You're talking about someone that you care for, someone who loves you and who wants to spend time with you. So be honest.
Yeah, if you're watching this video because you didn't ask that question but you just stumbled across it, and your significant other opens up to you about this, don't be mad. If you feel hurt or whatever, don't take it personally. It's like, be thankful that they're honest and they have that transparency and they're brave enough to be open with you about that.
It could be a little weird, but you guys are gonna like overcome that, and what comes after that and what comes through being so honest is beautiful.
Yeah, so I hope that helps. If you have more questions on this topic, feel free to ask. If you have questions on other topics, that's why I made the Love and Lifestyle series. But all you people out there that are realizing you're poly or exploring it, good luck, and we're here for you if you want some answers.
Don't be afraid. If someone judges you for it, then maybe they're not the right person.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to work out if it's meant to be, and as long as you act through love and integrity, everything is going to go just how it's supposed to.